Welcome to the channel. This is City Dad Farming.
So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be showing you how to fix screens. Basically, we got a couple ripped screens over here, and it's all from these guys right here going in and out through the screens. Actually, some of them were ripped before we moved in, but they didn't help the situation, I can tell you that. I'm going to show you how to do easily screen repair with some simple tools. Okay, so these are the things that you're going to need for today's task. This is the spline. This is what actually holds the screen to the frame. Going to need a razor blade, some needle nose pliers, and I have two different types of tools here, but they basically both do the same thing. These are for putting the spline in. It's got little roller wheels. This one's metal. This one's a little bit bigger with the plastic. We're going to try them both out and see which one works better. And then you need the screening material. So that's basically it. First thing that you're going to need to do is you got to remove the old screening. And that consists of taking out the old spline. And that's where the needle nose comes in. Because once you get the spline started, it'll pull out like this. But then to get it started, that's where the needle nose come in. Kind of just stick it in the corner there and just use it to pull it out. And then you just keep going around. When they get dry rotted like this, that's when they become difficult to get out. There we go. That's it. So once you get it started, then you just use it by hand and pull it out. The reason these are so hard is because this is just so brittle and dry rotted. It just doesn't want to cut out the new stuff. Look at how soft this is compared to this. So now the screen is out and you are ready. Just make sure there's a clean section. All right, so next thing you're gonna need, the razor and the screen. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a piece of this screen, and then you gotta make sure it's big enough to cover the hole. This looks like it'll do. So you got yourself a piece of screen that'll cover the hole, and it has to be bigger than the hole. It can't be exact size, it has to be bigger. And I'll show you why as we go through it. But the first thing you want to do is just make sure you have a piece that's big enough to cover the hole. And the next thing you're going to need, once you have the size cut properly, is you're going to need the spline and you're going to need your tool. And then the way I do it is I kind of start at the top first, so that this way once I have the first piece in, it's kind of holding in place. It makes it a lot easier to work with. So what I'll do is I'll take the end of my spline. You want to try to get this flat so that it goes in nicely. And then what I do is I put it up where I want it nice and level as I can get, and up, and then I'll start in the corner. And what you got to do is you got to take, there's two sides to this tool. One, it's just a flat round piece, and then the other one actually has a little groove in it. I tend to use the one with the groove because I find that holds the spline better. And then what I'll do is I get myself over here and I'll hold the spline and the screen with one hand, and then with the other hand I'll be working the spline into the track. A little trick with this part is you don't want to pull too hard on this, because if you pull it, it'll stretch, and then when you let go, it will contract and it won't be long enough. So you want to kind of just hold it gently. once you get that first setting, now the screen is kind of being held in place. So now what I'll do is I'll take my freezer knife and I'll just cut this spline nice and gentle, and then tuck this corner in so that it stays in good. That's the first one. Okay, so now what you want to do is kind of repeat the process going around the rest of the screen. Start on one side, come down the other side, and then do the bottom last. So that it can pinch, the spline can pinch it. If it's too short, you're not going to be able to hold it and work the spline in. So that's why it's got to be always bigger than the hole that you're dealing with. We got the last one on the bottom. All right, let's see if we can get this bottom one on. I'm going to try to use another piece of the old spline. So now the screen's in place. I got a nice tight taut screen. And now what you do is you're going to take the razor and now you're going to trim off the edge. And now it's always best to have a brand new sharp razor for this. It'll make it nice clean cut and it won't be that difficult to work with. If it's ripping, then at that point, you're going to want to get a new blade. Do just like that, nice and easy. And then what I do is make sure that all my corners are nice and tight once I got through. Go through one more time just to make sure that it's set. And that's it. That's how you fix the screen. No more going through this, all right, Blaze?
So that brings us to the end of another video. Make sure you give us a big thumbs up if you like what you saw, and tap that subscribe button to join our family. Thanks again for watching.